Hey, yo, what's up? It's Joe back with a Vim video. So today we're just going to touch on my Vimrc file, which is actually init.vim in my case, because I use Neovim. We're just going to go through 4 different areas. We're going to go through my settings, my remaps, my folds, and then my background, how I have the transparent background. All right, and if you're enjoying these videos, please go ahead and subscribe. Do not forget to hit that bell to get those notifications. And with that being said, let's just go ahead and get started. Alright, so first let's start looking at my settings. So we're just going to go through line by line and explain how each thing works, okay? So syntax enabled, just so I can have like syntax, like coloring and all that good stuff. Syntax on, these are just like basic stuff. File type plugin on, so it can like recognize my file types. File type indent plugin on, so it can like indent for certain file types. Omni syntax pound complete. It just gives me some completion. So this is where it gets more interesting, I guess. So my map leader I have its comma. So basically, anytime I use when I do a mapping, which I'll go down in my next area, I'll touch on how the map leader works. Set number basically means it's going to show the number here, like as you see, like the 48. If I was to turn that off, then you won't see a number. See, so I just turned off relative number, which is down here. And I also just turned off number. But if I turn number on, you'll see the numbers. They just count and just regular numbers. And then if I was to turn relative number on, which I'll just turn back on when I get to this position here. The term GUI colors just enables 24-bit RGB color. Set list pretty much does this thing here. Not sure if you can see it, but when you have spaces on the in the end of your line, it'll put those dashes there. All right, expand tab pretty much just takes tabs and turns them into spaces, because you know a lot of times you're writing code, some people don't really like to see tabs, they just want them to be as spaces, so that's why I have that. Shift width and soft tab stop I just have set to 2. So basically, like when I do my tabs and stuff, it's going to be 2 spaces instead of 4, because some people use 4. Relative number is what I just talked about from when I was doing up here. So relative number, if I turn that back on, see, now I have the relative number. So you see that 50, 49, which is my actual line number, but then the relative number starts like, it says counting up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then counting down, it goes this way. So those are relative numbers. So I have that because it makes it easier for me to jump from line to line. Like if I want to get up to this here, I can just say 10K, and now I'm there, instead of having to try to count the numbers in my head. And if I want to get back here, I can just say 10J. All right. And then the path is like if I'm using the find or anything like that. Although I do use Control P, which is a plugin, but I'll talk about that in a later video. So setting this path means I can search directories upwards and downwards. So if I was to do something like this, actually let me get out of here because I haven't talked about it yet. So if I was to do something like this, I can like check like if I was looking for a file, like it'll come up with like my inside this directory and outside of this directory is just like check more areas. I don't really use it that much. I kind of just have it set because of something I saw when I first started using Vim. I started like 8 months ago, maybe 9 months ago. So I just still have it in there, although I really don't use it that much because I use a plugin for that. While menu is basically like if you're looking for something. Let's say for instance I'm looking for this, and see how it pops up with all the different ones. If I didn't have that, these wouldn't pop up. Like just so you can see if I was to turn that off. And then I did the same thing. As you can see, it didn't pop up with the choices, which sucks, by the way. So I'm just gonna go ahead and turn that back on. All right. Incremental search is just so like when I'm searching for something. Say for instance, I'm searching for wow. See, as you can see, the color coded is popping up as I'm typing. If I didn't have that turned on, then I wouldn't see that. All right. Smart case. Well, first I'll just touch on ignore case. So like if I'm searching for something, it doesn't care about the case. So like I had the while menu, and if I was to put let me find something that has a capital letter. So let's look at enables, which is up here. So if I just put NA, as you can see, it still starts showing it. Although I think it's some down there, so that's why I went down to the bottom. So when I put smart case, anytime I use a capital letter, then it's no longer case sensitive, well, case insensitive. So say for instance, I was looking for the enables, which is like finding that. But say if I were to put a capital E here, and then I put NAB, but I put a capital L, it's no longer gonna do case insensitive because it sees a capital letter and then it turns it into case sensitive. So that's basically that, which is also pretty cool. All right. So where were I at? What was I at? Ignore case. So no swap file. Some people may be against this. Basically this helps out when you're like opening different files, and you may have it open in a different buffer and you're making changes, and then it may say you have changes in this file and like give you a lot of warnings, and so it doesn't want you to update this file because it's open somewhere else. For me, I just find it annoying. I know a lot of people may be against that, but this is just my personal preference. For me, it just bothers me, so I just turn it off, and I feel like I can manage it myself. And if ever I get to an issue where I feel like I should have turned it back on, then I'll go back and look at that at that time. So let's just move this up. So this set cursor line is basically this line that you see right here. So you see it kind of like highlights the line that you're on. If I was to turn that off, as you can see now it's gone, but I actually like seeing that line. All right. This lazy redraw is basically when you're doing like macros, and say for instance I have a macros that's doing all this different stuff, and it could take like maybe 15 seconds, 20 seconds, however long it takes to do that macro. And as like if the macro was working, you'll see yourself like moving through the screen and all of that stuff. So what no set lazy redraw means that it's not going to show all of this different movement in the screen. It's just going to run the macro, and then when it's done, then it will show the result instead of like showing. I know I look rough, but I've been quarantined, and it's fine. I don't really care about how I look, but whatever. I just want to say that because he's probably judging me right now, but it's cool. So yeah, that's what the whole the lazy redraw does. So it actually saves on CPU usage. Like if you have like a really intense macro running and you don't want it to use as much CPU, so I just leave it that way because I feel like it's better. So this format options plus equal J. I actually got this a while back when I first started, but it's supposed to always use spaces instead of tab characters, but I also thought the expand tab did that. So I'm not 100% sure if I need this, so we'll have to go back and check that because I'm not 100% sure. All right, so this clipboard on unnamed plus. So I just found this out recently. Basically, like when you're copying stuff to the clipboard and you want to use it to be able to run in a different program. Like say for instance, let's just do something. Let's just go to, I don't know where I want to go actually. Just go here, whatever. All right, so say for instance, if I copied this, okay? So normally if I came in here and I copied that, to paste that, I would have to do like, like write these keys like here, like this, and then here, and then P, or in some systems it's gonna be this, to like paste it. And I used to do it that way, but then I just start realizing like I don't hate typing all those extra keys, and Vim is supposed to save me time, right? So now I can just hit P, and it just does it for me. I don't have to worry about typing all those extra keys. And it's the same thing with copying. So if I was to like DIW, like copy that, it's already to that clipboard, so I can just paste. So for me, it saves me time. Not everybody may agree with that, but I like it, and I use my my registers when I want to copy something, so I can make sure I don't lose it. All right. Okay, so that pretty much goes over the settings. Now let's get to the fun stuff, the mappings. All right, so these are some command maps. So in my command map, when you go here, you're typing. I hate having to hit the escape key. So I also map my JK to work there as well. So I'm gonna hit JK and it exits me out. All right, because I just hate having to go over to the exit or maybe the Control C or any one of those things. You can do Control C as well, as you can see right here, because I mapped it to Control C. All right, just close that one. Where am I at? Insert maps. Why is it popping all this stuff up? All right, so let's just go through all this. All right, so the insert maps. So this is just some things I put in here to just like make it easier for me to do like opening and closing like characters. So say for instance, I was like, let me just go to like an actual file. What do I have loaded here? Nothing. Of course I don't. Let's see. I'll just do it here, whatever. So say for instance, I want to do something like open and close parentheses. There I have it. And if I want to do like the brackets, I can just do, and it opens and close. All right. And if I was in like an actual like app.ts file, it would actually do that for me as well, or any other kind of file, and actually do the spacing and stuff. Okay. So that's pretty much, I just did it for every key that I think I may need it for, although I may not even need it for like the single quotes and the double quotes and all that good stuff, but I did it anyway, just in case. All right. And that's just, for me, I find it easier if I'm like typing and I'm like writing some code. What was that? All right, writing some code. Writing some code, and I don't want to have to like type all that stuff, so I just say, bam, there we go. And if this was in like an actual other file, it'd do the auto indent for me, so we can go that auto spaces, but it's not doing it inside of this Vim file. All right, let me just put that back where that was. All right, so here is similar to that, but I don't add the spaces to it. So here I just use my leader. So I just say like, and then I open and close. Oops, I did that wrong. If I do leader, then it opens and closes, so I don't have to type it. Some people can use plugins for this stuff. I just prefer to just have that on my own. I try to minimize as many plugins as possible. Not like I'm against plugins, because I actually do love the plugins, but sometimes I just try to see, can I do it without the plugins, just so I can teach myself how it's done, because I just love learning. So that's my main reason. So don't take it as like, oh no, don't use plugins. Like, use plugins as much as you want. Like, do whatever works for you. But I find that I learn more by doing stuff like this. Okay. So here, I don't know if there's a better way of doing this, but it's just some issue that I found when I was typing. I need to get back to the next character. So I just put like this JL, and it just keeps me in insert mode, but goes to the next character. And then JH, which is right below that, does the same thing, but the opposite way. All right. And then this JJ, when I'm in insert mode, it just puts me to the end instead of having to, because I think if I was trying to do it, I'll have to like do exit or JK, which I haven't mapped to get out of to get to the command mode, and then hit the A to get to the end. So it's just saves me some keys. So just do JJ while I'm in insert mode and it work. All right. And then JX actually just deletes the character, which without, I think there's another way to do that. I think it's like control something. So I may not even really need that one. So I'm probably going to end up taking that out, because I think there's a better way. I just can't remember off the top of my head right now. Because some of the stuff I did put in here, like when I first started using Vim, and I just never took it out. So I am going through trying to clean up my Vimrc/init.vim. And I've been doing that a lot lately. So some of this stuff probably will disappear, like this JX. So JK just puts me back in command mode, which normally is just escape. I just find JK is easier. Some people use JJ. I like JK. And then JN just puts me, it just puts me in escape mode, and then do the O to get the new line. So I just find it easier if I'm already in insert to just do that. All right. And then this leader DD, while I'm in insert mode, I can actually delete a line. See? So this leader DD. As you can see, it just escapes and then DD, and it goes back into insert mode. Here is basically like I can indent stuff while I'm in insert mode. So I can do comma and then that, and it indents while I'm in insert mode. There may be another way to do it, but I don't know about it. So if I'm in insert mode, I can do comma that way, and I can do comma the other way. Oops. Why can I type? There we go. All right, so I can do it both ways, back and forth, and it just escapes and then do the indent for either way, and then goes back to insert mode at the end of the line, or the end of that word. All right, so here's something I built a while ago. It's for auto close tags. I know there's a lot of plugins that do auto close tags, but I kind of just did it because I want to see if I can do it on my own. So basically what it does, just clear that. So if I was to put something like this, and then I put leader CT, it just auto closed it. So if you want to see how that worked, if I was to actually type out the commands, so if I was to type out the commands, it puts this, and then it has this character, and then I do an escape, and then I do find this character here, but I do it to the second one. So it's gonna skip this one and go to the first one. So I say, am I still on there? All right, 2F, and then here. So now I'm here, which is where I want it to be. And then I go L to go over, so now I'm inside of here. And then I do YIW to yank it. And then I go to find this character. All right. And then I do my paste, which is the P. And then I go into insert mode at the end of that. So I go A. And then I put the closing, which is here. And then I escape. And then I go find again. Well, I'm finding backwards. And I go to this character, less than symbol. And then I go to I to insert mode. So now I'm here. And that's pretty much all of that did that. It may be an easier way. Again, I'm still learning a lot of this stuff. I'm only like 8 to 9 months in, but I find that it works for me. All right. And if I were to do the same thing and do this here with the S, it just adds in like an extra space. So if I was to do CT, and it adds in like, an extra line. And I think if I was in like another file, it'd do like the indenting for me, but it's not doing it in this Vim file. All right. So that's that. And then here is where I do like my Markdown. I recently added this because I recently got into like Markdown, which I love. I'll be bringing out some tutorials on that as well. So basically what it does is like 1, 2, 3. And it just, well, here it's going to add in this extra stuff because I'm in the Vim file. If I wasn't, wait a minute. This should not be here. I see what happened. All right. So let's just save that. Let's get rid of that. And let's just resource this. What's happening? Wait a minute. All right. I think it still had that other line saved. So I had to update this on my GitHub because that was wrong. I haven't been updating this, so I'm probably making some stuff not work right. But basically what it's supposed to do is 1, 2, 3, and then it added in the extra thing. So when I'm writing my Markdown and I want to surround it so that it be known as code, I can just do this character 3 times. And then what it's going to do is type it 6 times and then escape it and then do 3HA to go over 3 spaces and go into insert mode and then just enter, and then escape and then do the K to go up 1 and then the S to clear that line and then just tab to go over. Right? That's basically just what just happened. Okay, so now we have that out the way. Oops, let me go back here. I think I did the inserts. So let's look at the normal. So this is for my normal mappings. So to start off, I have this map to Q and then here and then I. So what is this? So when you're here and you do Q and then the colon, it puts you in the normal command mode, kind of like normal command mode, or command mode, but it's not really command mode. It kind of puts you in a new, like, I guess window, but it functions like the command mode. And in here, I have access to all of my other commands. And in here, it actually works like it would work in Vim. So I can do stuff like that. Like normally when you're in command mode, you lose your Vim, at least as far as I know, you lose all of your Vim keys. So it wasn't like all this stuff wouldn't work. So I can still use Vim in here. And then when I get to one that I want, I can just like hit enter like for instance, if I set the cursor line, I just hit enter, but that was setting it. Let me unset it. So let's just go back in here. So set no cursor line, and it's gone. And if I was to do that here, like if I do set no cursor line, first of all, I don't have access to all of my other ones. And then the Vim keys don't work in here. So normally I have to go back to the arrow keys and all of that stuff, which I hate. And there may be another way to set this up to work in here, but I haven't figured out how. So what I do is I just go to that other mode, and that seemed to work for me. Right? Oh yeah, and I put the I at the end of that just so I can automatically be in insert mode when I get there. Because normally if I just did the Q and here, I'll be in normal mode. But when I'm in here, when I go in here, I feel like I'm going to be ready to type a command, and I don't want to have to hit extra key I to get there. All right. Okay. All right. And then here, so normally when I do my search, like, you know, you hit the / I think that's called, and like you search for whatever you want, blah, 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 blah. So here it's similar to this, but I don't want it to default to that, right? So here I have it default. Anytime I hit that key, I have it default to take me to that search, but I'm gonna take me to that command with history. But here I actually want to just do it with the leader, because normally I don't feel like I'm gonna have to search history. So normally I just probably want to search the regular way. So here I do the one with the history, and I do comma that, and then now I can do the same thing with the history. You can see all the different things that I've searched for, and I can use my Vim in here, and I can do what I want. And whenever I find something I want, I just hit enter, right? And then I've searched for that. Okay. And then I also lost my spot. All right. So here is just my Vimrc file, and in here I'm just saying pretty much when I do leader VE, I want to just end up opening up my Vimrc to do an edit. And just in case you're wondering what this does, if I was to echo my, should have went in the other mode so I can actually have all the Vim stuff, my Vimrc, it just echoes like the directory, like the full path. So what I'm saying here is that anytime, what did I just do here? Oops. What did I just do? Oh, sorry. I had the cap locks, and then we're just doing all crazy stuff. Which is why I prefer to go into this mode, and I can just do echo my Vimrc, and then just use my Vim to do the caps, because I have my caps lock mapped to a different key, and then sometimes I turn it on, I forget that I have it on, so it just gives me issues. All right. So here is just sourcing that Vimrc. So instead of having to write source, or you can write SO and then put like the here, because that'd be like whatever. Since I'm on the Vimrc here, that'd be that. But with this command, I can just leader vs and just source my Vimrc like from whatever I'm in. Like, doesn't really have to be inside of the Vim. Like, I can just do it from anywhere. And then just leader vs. So I just call it like leader VE, like for Vim. So leader, which is comma for me because my leader is set to comma. So Vim E like edit, and then VS for like source. All right. All right, so here it just adds a semicolon to the end of the line without losing your location. I actually learned this trick from going over the Learn Vim the Hard Way, which if you haven't looked at that, it's online. Just search, Google search for like Vim the Hard Way, and I haven't even finished going through it yet. I think I'm on like chapter 32, and the thing is like extremely good. I know it's actually Learn Vim script the hard way. So by the end of that, I should be able to like really write my own plugins, which is where I'm trying to get to. And so far, I'm really loving that book. I look at the version online, but they have different. You can like actually buy it if you want like the hard copy. All right. So basically, what this does is just puts a semicolon. So if I do here, there's my semicolon. As you can see, it just went there. Do it again. All right. So what it does is just MLA. So basically, what that does, if you want to know what it does, it sets a marker. And then it sets a marker to L. Hopefully nobody's like, when you do this, hopefully you're not already have that marker set, because then you're going to lose it. So it sets a marker to L, and then it goes to the end of that line, and then adds a colon. then it escapes and then goes back by using the I forgot what this thing is called. Is it tilde? I don't know what that symbol, whatever it's called, and it takes you right back to where you started at. All right. So here I just use this to just turn off my toggle my NOHL search. So for instance, if I had something like this, right, and then if I do, I can turn it on, I can turn it off. All right. A lot of times I have it turned off because it annoys me sometimes. Here normally I know people say don't use the arrow keys. Why would you use that? And this was something I also did when I first started my Vimrc /init.vim. And basically what it does is I can use the arrow keys to move my windows, like stuff like that. Not really move the windows, but change the sizes of them. So I don't know. I may end up removing it just to get rid of it, but for right now I'm cool with it. All right, so this mapping says leader CD says change present working directory of the current file. So whatever file I'm in, it's going to change that current directory. So if I did CD, it's going to let me know that it changed the current directory. Wait, did I do it right? Yeah. And basically what it does is just go change that directory, and then it puts the percent to get the I think the full file name, and then P and H, and then do the present working directory, and everything is good to go. All right. So here is how I do my relative number and numbers, turning them on without having to type it. So I can just do space R, relative numbers, toggles, and I can do space N to toggle the number. All right. Oh, there's a lot of these things. Oh yeah, here it's just used to repeat the last macro. So if I were to run a macro, I can just do enter, and it'll just repeat the last macro. This leader actually just changes me back and forth from whatever buffer I have. So for instance, if I had like this open, then I can do that and go back and forth between the two. All right. And then leader O, it's like if I had like a split, and let's say for instance I did like what's my split for this? So if I did S, right, and if I want to do just only open that window. Okay. All right, so here is just some of the window manipulation stuff. So we'll go for these first. So here normally when you're going back and forth between like windows, like normally you have to do like control and then with the W and then do the H. For me, I just find it easier just to take out that W and just do control H or control J to go the other way, control K. Just I find it easier to just do that. And then here, if I actually want to move windows around, so let's say I did control WL or control WH. What am I doing here? Not control, yeah, control. Why is this not working for me right now? Oh, sorry, control W, there we go. I had my hand still on the control and W, so it wasn't working. So that was my bad. Control W and then L. It flips it back. So you can like move windows around. Like say for instance you have like a bunch of different like I guess windows open. You can just move them around. I just find it easier to do that. I actually don't really use these too much because I normally just have one thing open, unless I'm really stuck trying to figure something out. Then I may have two, and I'm like looking at the same like file in two different places. Here it just makes it easier to just close like a window. So I can go here and I can just do CC, and that's closed. Just bring it back. All right. So here's just for my quit and save. I'm not gonna do it right now because I don't want to like close this and open it back up. But leader, so LQ, the comma Q, which is comma is my leader, will quit, and then comma S will save. And of course, if you have like some stuff that needed to be saved, then it wouldn't work because then you have to have like the this thing here. I don't know why I can't think of any key right now. And then it won't work, so it'll just tell you like the error or whatever. So here is so when you're in normal mode, so you know like normally when you're in normal mode and you do like the O, it just puts a line above, all right, but it puts you in insert mode. But sometimes I don't want to go into insert mode. I just want to put something above and stay in normal mode, right? And along with this, I can actually do like, say for instance I did 20 and then, oh, sorry. Where did I just go? Oh, I did do it. Wait, sorry. Right, just got confused. So, say if I did like 20 and I put G, oh, just put all those spaces there. And I can do like, this is going, sorry, I was doing the capital O. So it's gonna go above. But if I want to go below, I can do like 5GO, and that puts it below. And it still keeps me in normal mode. All right, so here's using the buffers again. So I can just go through buffers like that. And I can go, let's just using like the leader and the L. So it's just comma L. This calls B next and then B previous. Here, if I want to quit a buffer, first it's just, I'm not gonna do it now because I actually can do it in this one. Let me do it in, I do it in this one. So it's comma BQ. So now if I look here, that buffer has been moved, so it's gone. The buffer has been closed. So what it does is leader BQ, it just says, takes you to the previous buffer and then end up deleting the buffer that you were on before. All right, that's all it does. So this JK here, I actually got this from somebody else when I first started. Can't remember at this point where I got it from. But what it does is when you have like wrapping lines, the J and the K would normally skip those wraps. So here, just make sure that you can still get to those wraps without skipping them. And then here, I got it from the same person. I think it was Ben Awad. I'm not sure if I'm saying this name right. I think I got these 3 from him, if I remember correctly. So basically what it does is like normally when you do a capital to Y, well, normally if you want a capital like copy from your cursor to the end of the line, you have to do like Y and then the dollar symbol. But what I prefer is just to doing capital Y, and then you just have it all copied. So if we're to do here, like all of it is, yeah. Also, all of it is copied, right? So if I did that, like it just copied everything instead of having to do the Y and the dollar sign. Okay. So let's go to operator maps. All right. So operator maps this is some stuff I learned from watching learn Vim script the hard way. So what it does is if I'm here, like, I recently built these. So if I wanted to just delete around the next word, so I can just say DANW. So as you can see, like this ACT got deleted. So DANW, right? But I having to go to it. So it uses the CU, which basically means like, it's kind of going to be a little hard to explain because it's a little bit deep. But basically it uses, I can use the operators like, you know, in and around and till and all that stuff. Well, not till because I don't have it here. And it just goes into normal mode and it goes to the next word. It visually selects that word. So once it's visually selected, then the D, which is for the delete, will know that it can delete it. So like for instance, if I say DAW, sorry, DANW, because it's getting this selected, then that operator will know to go ahead and delete it because that D starts to delete. I hope I explained that well, but I'm still learning a lot about like this part of the stuff, like the operator stuff, like to create your own. And I'm learning that and learn Vim script the hard way, but I do know how to write them. I'm probably just not good at explaining it. And here will be the same thing, just like if I would say delete inner word or in the next word, as you can see, it didn't take all the spaces out. With this one here, these are actually learned from that same Vim script the hard way. I don't know if he did them all or if he just did like one example, and then once I saw it, I went ahead and just built it for all the different ones that I wanted. So in here, like if I want to say around next bracket, so I can just say, let's say for instance I had something like here, and then I had this, and then I had something else, then I had this. All right. So if I was here and I wanted to say delete all of next bracket. Oops, that one's in bracket. Sorry. I'm sorry, that was the next bracket. So I'm here, right? So normally I will have to go to that bracket, like get to that bracket, So do like find bracket, get in there, and then do delete all of that. But in here, I can just say delete all of next bracket. And I can do the same thing again to get me there. All right. And pretty much just did the same thing for all of them. So I can say do the previous. So if I'm here, I can say DAL bracket and then just deleted the bracket, as you can see. And I also did it for inside. So it's pretty much the same thing. So I can say delete inside next bracket. So now I'm just deleted inside of that. And I just did it for both ways. So you can do it with the open. Actually, I think I just use all the open. So every time you do, you have to use the open bracket. And you can do the same thing for the last. So I can say be here and just say delete inside last bracket. Did I do the keys right? Yeah, there we go. So then you just go inside, right? And here you can do the same thing for this one. The other kind of bracket, I guess, I don't know what it's called, the symbol's called. But basically it works the same way as this one did. All right. And this one is the same thing just for the parentheses. And then this one is the same thing for the single quote. And then this one is the same thing for the double quote. All right. So basically all of those different things allows you to pretty much do those stuff, and some will delete inside, and then some will and it's not just delete. I guess I'm actually explaining this wrong, because it's not just delete, because you can also do like, say for instance, you want to go change inside. So I'm gonna do change inside next bracket. So now I'm in insert mode. So it pretty much takes the operators and then makes them work on all of these different commands. So you have your change, and I think like till will work. Well, I guess till wouldn't have to work. So I know change and delete work. Again, I'm still learning more deeply about these, but I use it for change and delete. Okay. So here it's just, so if I'm in a terminal, say if I'm in here, and when I first, just pressing random keys. So when I first started using this, my biggest issue was just, I kept trying to use JK to exit out, and it wouldn't let me, and I was extremely confused. And then I realized that it wouldn't let me because the JK that I had mapped to exit was only on normal and not for the terminal. So now when I do JK, I can get into my Vim mode, like normal mode, whereas here I'm not, which is what you normally go in when you get in here. So I can get in here and then I can go back out of that screen, because now like I'm back in normal mode. All right. Or if I was here and I tried to do all my other commands, it wouldn't work. Like I couldn't do Control H to get out the screen. Like it just wouldn't let me. All right. And actually there's that Control H, what I was doing like for the, when I was deleting the character or something like that, so I probably can take it out. So that's that. And what is this? So this is just something I created recently for session maps. The nerd tree, I'm only put that in there because I wanted to close nerd tree when I did the session, so it wouldn't save the nerd tree open. But basically what it does is I do leader MS and it makes a session. So, you know, with a session, it allows you to have like whatever you have open, and you can go back to that by pretty much just opening that file. So say for instance, I had something, let's actually just do this. So let's have this open, and let's have, we already got that open. Let's have the get ignore open. All right. So now if we, so we got a lot of stuff open actually. So let's say if I want to save this session, okay? So let's just say, make sure I have this file saved. Hope I didn't mess up anything. So I do comma ms. So I'm just gonna give it testing, whatever. Okay. So now I have that session created. So now if I were to leave out of that, and let's say I wanted to open the session, actually I have this map to something, but I'm just gonna do it the other way just so you can see. So if I want to open the session and I said, and then that session is called .config, oops, just go to the actual folder. And I think it's like nvim, then sessions, and then what do I have here? Testing. All right, and let me just add one thing. I also have Vim in my command, and again, I hear my terminal. If you didn't notice, so I can do stuff like this and go back, whatever. And I'll discuss that in a new video, in a different video. So if I do this, it literally open a session. So if I look, these are all the different files I had open, like the get ignored, the terminal. So it just saves the session, which is pretty cool. So if you have like a bunch of different projects, you want to have different sessions, save and open them later, you can do that. And if you're using this, if by any chance, if you use my my settings, you can just point this to whatever folder you want, and then just have here, like if I was to run this leader OS, like I can be in here and I can have it open like whatever I want, right? So these are some mappings I'm working on, so I'm not going to show those. And then the plugin mappings is something else that I don't want to show those because they're just about plugins. So here is the saving it folds. So I just recently started using folding a lot. I wasn't really using it that much, so I'm trying to get more into it, especially once I went in to start cleaning up this file and I realized that it was all a mess. So I had to start like putting stuff in areas so it was easier to go to. So here, there are different ways to do this, and different people have said different things. For me, I find this to be one of the easiest ways, and let's just remember folds. And basically what happens is when I leave, I do make few, which pretty much saves like your folds, saves like your, I think, mappings to that buffer. So some people say you're saving too much stuff and you may not even need all that, so maybe it's not good, but I'm fine with that. And if I have an issue with it, I'll figure it out as I go. But for me, I like being able to have my folds save and just is saving them. So like if by some chance somebody has a better way, then you can definitely let me know and I'll check it out. But I have seen different ways of doing it, and I just find this way works for me. And then when you enter, like pretty much whenever you open up a file or something, because it's the star means all files, then it's going to load in all like your mappings and your foldings and all that stuff. So now you can keep your folds. And by any chance of if you're using the session, if you create some folds after you already had the session created, well, pretty much if you create any folds, you need to resave that session so it knows about your new folds. Because if you don't resave that session and you try to open up that session again, it's not going to know about your new folds. Just want to put that out there just in case anybody was thinking about doing it. And all this stuff I'll go over at a different time, but I do want to touch on this one here, which is a pretty small one. Here, this is just pretty much how I have my background transparent. So you just do the HI, I think it's like highlight or something like that. And it's just pretty much setting the background to none and setting this C term background to none. I'm not 100% if I need both of them, but this is how I get my background to not be anything, and I just show it just becomes transparent. All right, so that's pretty much it for this. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do a second part of this video to go more into depth of all of the other things, like the themes that I have and all of this stuff here. This thing here is pretty cool. I'll go over that as well. It allows me to have like IntelliSense, and it uses like, you can use like TS server to do different things for TypeScript. It does a lot of stuff. It's pretty cool. That's where I do like all of my code completion and stuff at, which is something that I downloaded from GitHub. All right, so if you're liking these videos, please go ahead and subscribe. Do not forget to hit that bell to get those notifications. And with that being said, peace out. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.